Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have a special book haul video. Normally, I do a book haul on the beginning or end of the month type thing. So I do a book haul for the month of June, a book haul for the month of July, that type of thing. Occasionally, my book buying habits go a little crazy, and I end up buying way more books than I should. And so some of you may remember a few weeks ago I went to LibertyCon, and I also went to McKay's books. And between the two, I picked up 33 books. I haven't counted yet. I picked up a lot of books while at the convention that weekend and at McKay's Bookstore. And I thought I could just dump it all in July and have a massively huge July book haul, or I could just do a whole separate video talking about the book haul from this special week. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. So I got a lot of books here. I'm really excited. And boy, do I cover a bunch of genres here. So I'm really excited to get into these. So let's talk about the books. I'll start with the books I purchased at LibertyCon, and then I'll talk about some of the books I bought at the McKay's bookstore. So let's go through it. First, I have the book Salvage Title by Kevin Steverson. This is the first book in the Salvage Title universe. I'm very excited to get into this series, and Kevin signed my copy, which was very nice of him. And this is a short book. It's only about 270 pages, but I'm really excited. I've heard it's a fun science fiction series. And this is published by Chris Kennedy's Publishing's Theogony House. And then I also purchased, from a friend of mine, Fallout on Darsana by Melissa Olthoff. And Melissa is a friend of mine at the convention. She also signed my book. And this is one of the books in the Salvage Title universe. It's not in the next one in the sequence, but it's one I wanted to buy from her. And this was a bit longer, so I'm excited to get to this. I also received a copy. I received a copy of Ghosts of Malta, which is from Raconteur Press. If you want to know more about Raconteur Press, I have a whole video, news from Raconteur Press's publishing panel. And it is a short story collection, a speculative fiction short story collection. I'm excited to get to this. I also have... I received this book, 72 Hours to Graceland, which is part of the Car Warriors series from Three Ravens Publishing. So that's a quite nice, quite interesting cover I got there. I actually don't know exactly what's going on, which makes me excited to read it. Then I purchased the book The Pagan Knight by Tim Akers. Tim Akers, he wrote books for Baen Books. He wrote the book Wraithbound, and he wrote the books, the Night Watch series, and he also wrote The Pagan Knight, book 1 of the Hollowed War. And I've seen this trilogy in pictures before, and I'm like, oh, it looks nice. And Tim actually pitched it to me once, and I was like, oh, I have to read this. So this is out from Titan Books, and I purchased it from Tim, and also was able to get it signed, which I'm very excited about. And so I bought this one. It's a pretty decently sized book, but it's like a mix of mass market and trade. It's not the traditional trade size, but it's not the traditional mass market size. This is almost the way that some European trade books are. Anyway, that's a whole different discussion. I also, Kevin Steverson, when I purchased his Salvage Title book, he also has a short story collection, Sneak Thief, Stories from the World of Care, which I'm interested in reading. So there's this one. I also, so if you ever go to the Baen Traveling Roadshow, which is held always at LibertyCon and at DragonCon, and I think it's occasionally held at MarsCon. I might be wrong on that, but it's a big event, and I covered it on the channel. But the Baen Traveling Roadshow, if you are it's your first time at the roadshow, first time at the convention, if you're in the military or a teacher or you're something like that, they'll call you up and you get a free book. And this was my first time at LibertyCon, so I received a book by Mercedes Lackey, Cody Martin, Dennis Lee, and Veronica Guguire, titled Revolution. So this was a book that was part of the giveaway from that, which I'm interested in. Who did the cover for this? Illustration by Larry Dixon. There's that. I also purchased, I'm really excited about this one. I am pumped about this. I purchased The Space-Time War by Les Johnson. Battle across space, war throughout time. Les is a fantastic science fiction writer, and he is a NASA scientist. So I'm very excited to read this. I read his book Mission to Metheny and loved it. So there is, and I love this cover. Who did the cover here? I'm going to look that up real quick because I love this cover. This cover was by Don Mates. Don Mates. I also, at LibertyCon, this was the last book I got at LibertyCon, was Mark Wandry's Cartwright Cavaliers. This is the first book in the Four Horsemen series by from Chris Kennedy Publishing. I think it has like 100 books in the Four Horsemen series, and this is one of them, and I'm very it is the first one actually. So I purchased this, and we'll see if I really love it. There's a lot more for me to read, so that's really exciting. Let's get into the stuff I bought from McKays. I went to McKay's bookstore, and I told myself I'm not going to buy too much, and then I bought too much. I need to stop promising myself that I'll do this. So, which books did I buy from McKay's? I purchased The Wormling Horde by David Farland in mass market paperback. And you might say, I've seen you have this cover before. Well, I have all of David Farland's books in hardcover, but I also wanted to have them all in mass market. And so now I only have one left from the Rune Lord series in mass market that I need to get. That's the last one. But I found this in mass market, pretty cheap, and it has a gorgeous Daryl K. Sweet painting. So I got that. I also purchased a Halo novel, First Strike, in the Halo series by Eric Nyland. This is book 3 in the Halo series. You have the books The Fall of Reach, you have the book The Flood, and this is First Strike. And I know it does not fit, because this is a mass market, the other ones I have are trade paperbacks. I just wanted to get more copies of Halo so I could read them and enjoy them. So that's this book. I also purchased, and this is going to be funny, I purchased this next book purely as a completionist, not because I'm excited to read it. So, one of my most infamous negative reviews is of George Lucas and Chris Claremont's Shadow Moon, which is supposed to be a sequel to the movie Willow. And I thought it was a horrendous book. And I'm very, very nice about my book reviews, but that was a horrendous book. And I purchased book 2 because I was like, well, they're actually, books 2 and 3 are ridiculously expensive because there's not many copies out there. I think that the publisher wisely stopped printing them. And so the price went up on these, and they're now worth like hundreds of dollars each. And so I saw it for just a couple bucks in my local used bookstore. They obviously didn't know what they had on their hands, and got that. And then at the most recently, I was like, well, I saw the third book, Shadow Star, and I was like, well, I just have to buy it just to complete the 3-book set. So, will I ever read this? Jury's still out. It's a decent cover, but I mostly got it as a completionist in me so I could have all 3 books, and because this one is in really good condition. This is in really good condition, and when you look it up online, these copies sell for hundreds of dollars each. So I'm very excited to not read this. I also purchased another Star Wars novel. This is Children of the Jedi by Barbara Hambly. I think this is book 1 in the Callista trilogy. I've read book 2, and I think I own book 3, but I wanted to be able to read the others. I read Barbara Hambly's Dragon's Bane and loved it, so I'm hoping I'll enjoy this. Usually most people do not love Barbara Hambly's writing style. However, I like Dragon's Bane, so you never know. And I know Dan CW Centralized, it's Dan SW Centralized on Twitter, loves Barbara Hambly's stuff. He goes nuts for it. So Dan, this one's for you. I also purchased The City of Ember, Book 2, The People of Sparks. I read Book 1 like 2 years ago when I was teaching 5th grade, and that's what the 5th grade was reading with their English class, and I wanted to follow along with them, and never got around to buying Book 2 or reading it until now. And I got it, and I'm really excited to get into it because I loved the first City of Ember book. I thought it was great. So, there's that. I also purchased Star Trek Into Darkness, the novelization by Alan Dean Foster. I'm trying to have read all the movie novelizations, and I have 3 left. I have The Voyage Home, Nemesis, and Into Darkness. And so now that I have this, after I read it, I'll only have 2 left. So maybe it'll make the movie better for me. I also purchased The Martian by Andy Weir. I had read this book years ago when it was not loaned, but like a friend let me borrow it, and I read it and loved it, but I never had a copy for myself, and because of how popular the book is, the prices on the book, like to buy a used copy of this book, is pretty much the price of a new book. And so I was like, I just don't want it that bad. And then I found it really affordable here at McKays, and so I was like, I'll pick that up. It's the movie version of the cover, but you know what? I'm okay. I'll accept that this time. This next trilogy I'm also really excited about because I've been reading through the Dune books, not only the originals by Frank Herbert, but also the prequels and sequels. I've been doing the prequels. I intend to do the sequels eventually by Kevin J. Anderson and Brian Herbert. And now I have the Butlerian Jihad trilogy. You have, I think the first book is the Butlerian Jihad, and then you have book 2, The Machine Crusade, and book 3, The Battle of Corinne. This is a controversial prequel series, but I actually have been loving them so far, and I actually like that I was able to find matching covers of them, because it's actually pretty hard to find matching covers in local bookstores, and the only ones in my local bookstores are prohibitively expensive. So I have these in mass market paperback, which I like mass markets. I've also got some Star Trek books that I bought at the McKays. Just for one, because they were really affordable. Some of these Star Trek books were like 50 cents a piece, and some of them were books that are harder to find, and then also it's just that these were books that caught my eye. So the first Star Trek book from the pocketbooks line is The Entropy Effect by Vonda McIntyre, and purchased this one. It was like 50 cents, so score on that one. I should read this in like a day. It's really short. I also purchased Ship of the Line by Diane Carey. Been interested. They only have hardcovers in my local bookstore, so finding this at McKay's was pretty nice. They also have A Flag Full of Stars, which is, I bought this because of the title alone, and because it has a Klingon on it, and I love Klingons. This is by Brad Ferguson. I also purchased Yesterday's Sun by A.C. Crispin. A.C. Crispin, classic Star Trek and Star Wars writer. So I'm excited to see what her Star Trek books are like. Again, this one was like 50 cents, and it's like 180 pages, so it should be an easy, quick knock through. I also purchased Orion's Hounds by Christopher L. Bennett. This is one of the Titan novels. I'm collecting all of the Star Trek Titan novels and reading through them slowly, and so I'm like, I can add a fine addition to my collection of them. Pretty soon I'll have them all, because I have most of them now. What else did I get? I got Losing the Peace by William Leisner. I almost call him Bill Leisner, because that's what the other authors call him. But this is one of the books that's leading up to, I think, Destiny. I think this one leads up to Destiny. So I got this. All right, now I have to say, I have to be honest. These are the books I'm most excited about because the covers are amazing and because they're epic fantasy in like the 90s, 2000s era that I just love these types of books. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them from 2 different series. And so let's go through them. I purchased from the Wayfarer Redemption series. I already had the first book in hardcover, but I found the paperbacks of books 2, 3, and 4. Book 2 is Enchanter, with that gorgeous Royo cover. Book 3, Starman, again, a gorgeous Royo cover there. And then book 4, Sinner, with yet another gorgeous Royo cover. I love these covers. And that's my style of classic fantasy covers, and don't they just look so good at the spines with the Tor symbol and it just looks so good, and so I'm really excited to read this series. Another booktuber, John Douglas, recently did a video on Sarah Douglas, and I'm I didn't watch it yet because I haven't read any of her books, but I intend to. So now that I have the first 4 books in this series, I will get started eventually. I also got 5 books in L.E. Modesitt Jr.'s The Magic of Recluse. I have books 1 and 2, which I've read, and then I have books 3 and 4, which I haven't read yet. And I don't know what's been keeping me from reading them, maybe because they're standalone type books. But I found all of these for very reasonable, and the hardest book to find in my local bookstores, the absolute hardest book to find in my local bookstores is Death of Chaos, book 5. And that's the next one I needed to continue on. And this actually continues the character's journey from the first book. But you can't find it anywhere in my local bookstores, and I've waited for so long. So I got this. And then I don't know which books in which order, so I'm going to read these in the wrong order most likely, but we'll just go with it. By the way, gorgeous Daryl K. Sweet cover art on this one. All of these are Daryl K. Sweet. We have the Colors of Chaos, gorgeous cover art. We have the White Order, gorgeous cover art again. The Fall of Angels, and the Chaos Change. This really makes me think of the Wheel of Time covers. This one, I wonder if he was doing it at the same time as Wheel of Time, because it really looks like that. But I like it, and look, it kind of wraps around, and if you didn't have the words in the way, you would be able to see like the nice buildings, and there's people here, and these are gorgeous covers. And so I got all of these. So this is the 6th volume, so this one goes after Death of Chaos. And then I wonder which order the rest of these go in. He did not make it easy to determine which one goes which. After Death of Chaos, you have Fall of Angels, Chaos Balance, White Order. All right, so that's the order. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I now have up through book 9 in the Magic of Recluse series. So I better get started on it. But am I so excited. Am I so excited to read this series. Because, I'll read basically anything that Daryl K. Sweet did the cover art for. So that is all the books that I purchased at both McKay's Bookstore and at LibertyCon in 2024 this summer. So this is my summer book haul. I'll still probably have a July book haul. Don't worry. I'll still have a July book haul. But this was just a special one I wanted to do. So if you've read any of these books and you have thoughts on them, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you're interested in any of these books, let me know that as well. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.